Hello and welcome to the I Do Wedding Marketing Podcast. I'm your host, Nina Adio, a social media marketing expert specific to the wedding industry. On this show, I discuss tips to help you DIY your social media, as well as getting the confidence and income to outsource it. Thank you for allowing this episode to come through on your Bluetooth, your car radio, wherever it may be you're listening from today. Now, let's take your wedding business to the next level. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the I Do Wedding Marketing Podcast. Here on this podcast, we work together to bring you more leads than ever before, whether it is you getting tips from this podcast and implementing them yourselves, or if you are using me for my social media management. And that is what I want to talk about today. What is it like working with a social media manager? So I'll take you through some of the steps, what my process is like, and kind of just get you familiar with it because not everybody has worked with a social media manager before. So if you have wondered what the experience is like, been on the fence, maybe wanted to message me but was uncertain about what was in store, I'm going to run all that down for you today. Now, don't forget that tomorrow I am going to be dropping an exciting announcement, a big announcement, something I've never done before. So you're going to want to listen again tomorrow or follow me on Instagram at I Do Wedding Marketing. So let's talk about what it is like working with a social media manager. Now, of course, I'm really speaking about what it's like working with me, right? I can't tell you what it's like working with somebody else. But this is how my process goes. I think it's, relatively industry norm. A lot of this is what makes it different though is that I know weddings and that there is very little understanding and training you have to do with me beyond our initial period talking together to make me understand how your business works. And that's because I've worked the back ends of weddings, both through working on the back end at wedding venues as well as assisting with wedding planning for my friend who's a wedding planner so that I could learn weddings more and how they function more. So I would either sometimes go with her or I would even host or come in as the wedding planner for her. So that's how hyper focused and passionate I was about weddings that I just wanted to spend 12 hours on my feet planning a wedding just to learn. So I mean, planning a wedding is more than the 12 hours, but you get what I'm saying. That big day, right? That big day, you have to be crazy to do that when it's not what you do for a living. But that's just how much I wanted to understand weddings, and that's a big part of us working together and the appeal for it. So typically what happens is that first we connect. Either you reached out to me, maybe I sent an email to you. Sometimes if I see a venue or a company that I can tell hasn't been able to devote time to their social media, I'll let them know I exist. I'll say, hey, this is what I do. If you want to learn more, I think your venue's gorgeous. Just send me a message. And sometimes this happens, guys. Cold messaging works. If you go to the right people, they'll message me back. A little like side note on that, one of my biggest pet peeves as a social media manager is when people message through Instagram when the account is clearly active. Like clearly somebody's running the social media. Like you wouldn't ask somebody else outright while they're working for their job. And that's what I feel like people do when they message on Instagram. That's being updated and being used, saying, "If you're looking for a social media manager, I'd love to do it." It's like, well, clearly someone's doing it, so lay off. Okay, I got that out of the way. The first thing we're going to do is what many people in the industry call a discovery call. Some call it other things, but really, in essence, what it is a free call. Nobody's paying for it. It's a get to know you call. And the way I structure these is I like to learn about your business, where you're getting your leads from. Are you relying on social media at all for leads yet? Do you exist anywhere else in the digital space? Who was doing it previously? Was it outsourced? Was it done in-house, etc.? And very often people will tell me, it's often venues that I'm having these calls with, but I work with other professionals as well. People will tell me what their struggles are, what lead sources are and aren't working. And that helps me to understand how I'm going to create my proposal and how I'm going to market their business, because I need to know what's working. So, some other things I will ask about is, I'll ask about their team, I'll ask about their packages, what they offer, and so forth, what their type of bride is. All these things I really need to know, even what their competitors are like. And I want to know where they want to be, where they're going, why they think social media is the answer, and what they want to see out of it. I have to ask this in order to really direct their package, because sometimes the answer is easy and I could tell. Like, they just need that Instagram and Facebook. Sometimes LinkedIn is a real passion point for them, or even Pinterest sometimes. So I like to get the idea of what it is that they feel they really need in their market. And I like to do a deeper dive on their location and area so I can see what's working in their market and what they aren't bringing up and what they aren't showcasing that they can. So it's a really deep conversation, and we both get to see if we jive. They get to ask me anything they want to ask and see if they like my answers, right? And I get to ask them anything I want to. And from there, I create a proposal. So I always have my base package. That base package is listed on my website as well. So there are no surprises. And I'll include what the base package is, and that price is fixed. And then what I'll do based on our conversation is I will write up additions that they might want. Sometimes it's blog posts, sometimes it's email blasts. Like I said, sometimes it's an additional platform like LinkedIn or Pinterest. Sometimes it's managing their digital listings. They need somebody to go in there and make sure that the photos are up to date, the links are working, and so forth. So I'll go into all the potential add ons of what they need. Sometimes they want more of the Instagram and Facebook than the base package allows. My base package, I'll be doing 3 feed posts a week, and then I'll be adding reels and stories. But if you want more than that, then we have to up your package. Or if you want more engagement time, then we're going to up your package. And on our call, I go through what my organic engagement process is. So this way, there are no surprises. They know going in that organic engagement is part of the package. And if they want to do ads, that's an additional cost at their cost. So no Facebook or Instagram ads are bundled into the package. Those would just be added on. So let's say we decide that we are going to work together. That's when we're going to start the onboarding process. So we'll pick a date that we're going to be starting by. And by that starting date, I am going to need all of the material. So that is going to include your logos, your existing photos that you have, all of your approved photos that already exist. Sometimes I have to go in and really find them or start curating photos as we build up to finding more and booking more weddings to get more photos. And then I'll need, your passwords. We have a whole process for doing all of this information. And I always tell people, whenever somebody who has your password is no longer a part of your team, you should be changing that password. It's just a good rule of thumb to go by. I'm not accusing anybody of anything, but if you're uncomfortable, if the password you have is the password you use for everything, I recommend changing it before you give it out to anybody. That's just how I feel. But, you do you. You do you. It's just a recommendation that I have. So as I get that material, then I am going to start creating content. So typically it would be for the upcoming month. Let's say I'm filming this at the end of August. So the start date at earliest would be September 15th. So I have 2 weeks to start getting the content scheduled, written, and so you can approve it, because it is in these beginning stages that the approval is going to matter, because that's how I'm going to learn if I've picked up on this just straight away or if I haven't. So for some venues, they really like when I pull photos that are showcasing things that haven't been showcased before. They don't care if the photo's old or new. And as long as my verbiage and descriptions are right, that's what matters. I've had instances though where I've done that, and then the venue was giving me feedback that they really wanted the most current weddings only. So that's what I'm talking about when I say there's going to be a learning curve in the beginning, and learning what type of photos that you want showcased right away. And that was really helpful feedback for me, because now I prioritize the new photos all the time, and it has worked out really great for all of my accounts. So most of my accounts are venues. So sometimes I may be using the term venues, but really I do mean any professional, because sometimes this stuff is across the board. If I get a new wedding for any professional, I'm going to want to showcase that new wedding. Right now, I'm in a great spot. I'm really, really grateful with my current roster of clients. When I send the content calendar, they don't have any updates or changes. Of course, I have been working with all of these clients. I think all of them have been for over a year. One of them is going to be actually a year in January. So I've been working with these venues for a long time, and that's the benefit of that. You get to this spot where you really know how to write for them, and you know what their audience responds to, and you're in this like really great sweet spot. But like I mentioned, during that first month, we're going to be talking a lot more. We're going to be exchanging photos to one another. We're going to be feeling each other out and getting our vibes down to learn what we like. And that's totally normal. So sometimes it's really seamless. There are no notes. They're like, wow, this is awesome. And sometimes like we'd like more of this. We'd like more of that. We'd like newer photos, whatever the case may be for everybody. So when I deliver this, it's done on a spreadsheet that everybody can access. It has the photo, it has the caption, it's going to have everything you need. And the reason why I do this is some people would call it CYA. It's cover your ass. You have access to everything that I'm going to publish on your account. So if there's anything you don't like, you had access to it before it went live. So I like to offer my clients that. I've noticed most of them don't really go go in and look. Some I don't think look at all ever. But that's okay. That's okay. I still do it for myself too, because I like to have it typed out somewhere else before I put it into my scheduling platform. If a company I'm working with has a scheduling platform they've already invested in and like using, then I will come on board using their platform. Otherwise, I will use one of my own, and this way they have access to everything on the spreadsheet. They don't need to be going into my platform unless I want them to. Also, I give my clients full time access to analytics. So, since they're not on my platforms, I export the analytics every week so they can look at them and see where we've grown, where we've gone up, down, etc. And once a month, I'll make sure to call out the information so they're looking at it, because, like I said, I really don't think they're looking at it much. It's and that's because they just want to see the leads, right? They want to see that people are inquiring and people are booking. That's why they don't really look at the analytics, even though from my perspective, it's that one my job is to get people from your Instagram, your Facebook to your website. All right. If they don't book from there, that's your website's problem. That's how I like to drop it off at the website. But other than then so I always try to get that lead source going. I like people. My goal is to get people from Instagram, Facebook, or whatever platforms we're using together, from that to your website. So my most important analytic is the website clicks, and I refer to it a lot. After that, then it's going to be seeing the shares and the saves and the likes and comments, but you really want to see things that are going to increase your reach, like the shares. And that's really it. It's a lot of smooth sailing as long as we work through that initial communication. If there's anything you don't like, I'll work on it as best I can and pivot it to have more of what you do like. I always encourage people that I'm working with to send me, if they see a post they like or a reel they think is funny that they want to try and do, I'm always like, send it, do it, let's do it, let's have fun with this. And that really helps me to learn their style. I really connected with one of the owners at my first wedding marketing job because she would send me every pretty wedding post she saw, and I was able to really pinpoint her style. I mean, we still talk, and I still will send her photos when it looks like her wedding style because that became how we communicated. And it wasn't anything where it was like post this, create this. She was just telling me this is the brand, this is the theme, this is the style we want to have and embody. And she knew that you could use the marketing to express that to couples. So I always tell people, if you're more visual with sharing what you want to sell or what you want your image to be, send me the photos and let me know, and we'll make it happen together. Speaking of photos, not everybody has an access or a pool of photos they can use. Some maybe you've recently taken over the venue you're working at. Maybe, look, I've had it happen where the venue I came in at, the employee who was before me got mad and deleted all the photos. Okay. Things happen. And that's why I want to tell you about Your Real Wedding Photos Club. This is the sponsor of I Do Wedding Marketing Podcast, and it's a photo and video membership for wedding pros. I use this, okay? I use these photos. You can see it in my own marketing. And this gives members or subscribers, they receive 100 real royalty free wedding specific photos and 10 wedding specific videos monthly to your inbox. And you can use these photos for your content and for your social media. So for email blasts, websites, Instagram, you are able to use these photos. And throughout the months, I've gotten such a versatile selection of photos from this photo club. And you can sign up for as little as $37 a month, or you can just do it all annual upfront for $347. That's what I did. I said I can't afford not to have more wedding specific photos, because very often when you're trying to get stock photos, it's for all sorts of businesses. That's why I love not only that this was wedding specific, but every month I get 100 different photos. So it's not 100 photos that are all from the same shoot. They're different photos from all different types of shoots, which is really, really a home run. It's just like Christmas morning at the start of the month when I get these. So you can check that out in the show notes or by visiting idoweddingmarketing.com/sponsors, and it's right on top at Your Real Weddings Photo Club. Think you should check it out because it's going to help with your own marketing strategy.